Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, a full-blown nice guy meltdown. I had a full-blown nice guy meltdown and regret it to this day. Apologies beforehand, I will not be brief. Hey, it's already a big step admitting that it was a nice guy meltdown. Alright, so let's get into it. For some context, I am what you'd probably consider a textbook incel, with quotes. Not necessarily the woman-hating type, but the stereotypical young, F-up kind. Socially inept, yes really, and socially frustrated. Immature, no talents, no friends, no job, barely scraping by. By the way, it's the guy saying this, not me. Never had a girlfriend, yada yada. You get the picture. I'm 21 now, but this story is from when I was 19. Alright, it already sounds like the kind of person that would call themselves an incel. I feel like usually someone else wouldn't really call someone an incel. It's usually the person calling themselves that. So already we're on the nice guy track. For some years now, back to the book. About 5 or so, I've been on a negative trajectory. What's a hard word for you to say? Because that's one of mine. I started isolating from my friends during the beginning of COVID and never really recovered. There are probably so many people out there who feel that. You isolated and then you just got used to being alone. You got happy with being alone. And I wonder where it took this guy. I lost touch with all of them and basically lost the ability to connect with people. Safe to say, I have no friends anymore. Not even acquaintances. Not looking to score pity points. Just trying to paint the stage. And that's honest. Close yourself off from people. You're gonna get used to that type of environment. And when it's time to interact, it's kind of like, ooh, you're a bit rusty. Okay, you gotta get used to it. It's like practicing a sport. You have to kind of stay in that mindset or that kind of attitude, or else you're gonna get used to being alone. It happens to people all the time, and you can come out of it if you're there. It had been this way for almost 3 years before I began my first year in university. I was optimistic in the beginning, thinking it's a new world. I'd meet plenty of people, and I'd have to make some friends along the way. Listen, when you try to make friends, you actually have to put yourself out there and try to find people that you get along with. It's not just like kindergarten where someone comes to you and says, hey, let's be friends. You actually need to go to places, introduce yourself, try to be nice, try to interact with people. You can't just wait around and have friends come to you, right? I don't want that to sound mean. It's true. And the older you get, the more you realize it's kind of something you need to do actively. It just doesn't happen so naturally. Even though when you're growing up, it's probably like that. I lost touch with all of them and basically lost the ability to connect with people. Safe to say, I have no friends anymore. A whole semester had passed and I couldn't even make an acquaintance. Why not? I want to know more about these things, but this person goes on. I started second semester with a very cynical outlook, thinking it's just going to be like high school all over again. Oh no, so they had a past where maybe they weren't very good at making friends and it was hard for them to connect with people already. So if you go into something and you're already cynical, you're going to kind of block out the world thinking that it's going to be like something else all over again when you don't realize you go to a new environment like university from high school and these are complete strangers. They have no idea who you are and what you were like in the past. They don't know what you were like in high school. You have to realize you can make yourself anything you want to be, and that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing. There are a lot of people who fake it and they're not really themselves, and whatever, that's their choice, but you can also have an opportunity to finally be yourself. It goes both ways. You can be yourself and find people that you actually connect with, and it won't be like high school. Because it's not like high school. It's a new environment and you have to look at it that way. This person is already kind of out of that, so I wonder how it was for them. By this time, I had really started resenting living. I can't really do justice to how much I resented my loneliness. Ouch, right? You go into something and you're already kind of resenting things. Have you ever been to an event or something and you meet a person who has put themselves there? It's not like, someone forced them to come to this event. You meet someone who actually just showed up there by themselves out of their own free will, and they seem angry. They seem angry to be interacting with people. They seem very upset that things aren't really going their way, even though it's just an event. And you kind of get the vibe like, oh, I guess I'm not going to really talk to this person. If you go out and you're already in this attitude where you might be resenting the situation that you're in, if you're not really happy to be here, you don't really have to be here. So I'll just go interact with someone else. But people can feel that when they're talking to you. If you hate the environment that you're in or you don't really want to be talking to these people pick up on it. And why, if you're the other person, would you keep yourself in the situation where you're talking to someone who has this kind of outlook or who might already be angry at the situation, you could easily just take yourself out of it by not even talking to them anymore. It's so easy. Anyways, he goes on to say, however, on the first day I met a girl. You can see where this is going. He said that, not me. She was very forward and clingy right off the bat. That's how I perceived it anyways. I'm not exactly an unbiased source, but she took a type of interest in me that nobody has had in years. I appreciated that since I'm not good at maintaining relationships, especially new ones. Like I said, I was pretty cynical from my first year, so I figured she'll keep this up for about a week and then she'll realize how boring of a person I am and she'll move on, and that'd be the end of that. Wow. So even when someone starts talking to him, he already feels like, oh, this is only gonna last for, just a short amount of time and then they're not even gonna want to talk to me anymore. What about the effort that this person makes in talking to the other people, I wonder? Even meeting someone and then describing how the person that he met is like automatically the one that's being more forward. I wonder what he was like in this type of situation. Was he making an effort and trying to be the one that is also forward? Or, instead of thinking, oh, she's gonna put up with this for about a week and then stop, does that mean he's also going to stop after a week too? If someone else just kind of peters out? I think if you have friends and you try to keep in touch, it kind of takes two. It's like, a road. It goes both ways. You can reach out and say hello, and then the other person can also reach out and say hello. It shouldn't always be the same person doing it, and you kind of have to put in like an equal amount of effort. But I can also see how in this situation, he is feeling like, it's kind of different compared to everyone else who isn't automatically just so into talking to him. If I was in this situation and I was in the nice guy shoes, I would kind of wonder, what's going on? This is different, but it doesn't mean that you should automatically put a time limit on interacting with someone new. I can see the perspective he's coming from after reading this. Surprisingly, she stuck around. We almost spent all of our time on campus together. I got to know her more than I've gotten to know anyone else in years, and she got to know me more than anyone else in some years. 1 month passed, and I was overjoyed that this might actually last. She was asking me to join her classes and grab lunch after class and whatnot. I really can't do justice how much all this meant to me. It had been so long since I've hung out with anyone, let alone someone asking me to hang out with them, and that's cool. But at the same time, if you're starting to meet someone new and let's say it's already been a month, it's just a month, and he's already saying, wow, I can't believe she's gotten to know me this much, that's more than anyone has gotten to know me in years. Instead of pouring in your whole life and all of your effort into this one person that you're talking to, it could be a wonderful sign that, you can do this, so why not interact with other people too? Don't put all of your eggs into one basket, and I don't mean that in terms of him finding a girl and then thinking like this girl is his whole world, both romantically and on a friendship level. It should be like, okay, people aren't so bad, so how about other people? It doesn't mean, oh, this girl is cool, so I'm gonna go talk to a bunch of girls and try to start relationships with a bunch of girls, because it doesn't even need to be a relationship, no matter how good it feels. If you start feeling like the world is against you and suddenly one person is talking to you, it should be a sign that not everyone is terrible. It could be a sign that, you can find good people too, so keep trying. Don't stop at this one person, and don't stop at wanting to be alone. This is honestly the happiest and the only happy memory I have in 5 years. That's gotta be tough. And this is coming from a person who really didn't have to deal with this type of situation in high school where I felt like everyone was against me and I didn't have friends, because I was okay in high school, and I wouldn't say that I was the type of person who was really popular or anything. I had my group, and it wasn't just a group in one particular area. I had a group that I did sports with. I did after school club, I did something creative, and I also did things outside of school. I finished all my credits early. I went to a different school, and I had friends there too. So I never really felt like I was alone or against the world, but it was also nice to be able to interact with a lot of people that I could connect with. But it also depends on your personality and where you're growing up and whether or not you had some type of encouragement growing up. If you always felt like you were the weird kid and you always felt like you were, socially an outcast, it's very easy that by the time you're grown up, you would feel like, okay, I am just this type of person and I will never be able to get out of this. And please, if anyone is listening to this and you feel this way, it is not true. And I'm not saying, oh, it's easy, just go out and make a bunch of friends, it's so easy, you can go do it. I'm not saying it like that. I'm so sorry that the people that you interacted with were never the people for you, but there are people for you out there. And I know it's hard to keep trying, but there are people for you out there. That's all I can say. There are people for you. There's someone for everyone. There's a group for everyone. There's tons of people who could understand you. Please try. You got this. Over the course of the next few months, she started asking me to do little favors for her. Nothing major, just every now and then. I didn't mind at all. Like I said, she was the best thing that had ever happened to me for the first time. I was truly happy. Over time, they became more frequent, but whatever. I'd do anything for her. So in this situation, I'm already feeling, I gotta be honest. And if you're out there listening, what do you think? Because I'm feeling that she's using him. And even though, he was having a tough time becoming friends, the way that they kind of connected with each other and then having him feel like, wow, I'm the happiest I've ever been. It's only been 1 month and you've already kind of connected on this level. It's making me feel like, watch out. I'm feeling protective over this person. Even though he's calling himself a nice guy and an incel and whatever, I'm feeling protective over this person because even though he's had such a hard time with people in the past, there's still something in this person's heart that just wants a connection with another human being, and finally feeling happy after being able to speak with someone and have them try to understand you and like spend time with you and everything. You might be being used. It hurts, and it's hurting my heart reading this. I feel bad because all this person wants is to be with someone else. They actually don't want to be alone. I'm not saying this to paint her in a bad light. The importance of this detail will become clear later on. I can already see it. It's already clear. So far, we were only friends, really. I've always wanted a girlfriend, but I figured she's probably not into me that way, which I don't mind. Beggars can't be choosers, but over time, I started to feel like maybe she wasn't into the idea. Small little cues like calling me cute and asking me if she made me nervous. That's kind of weird. If someone is asking, oh, do I make you nervous? Wouldn't it make you feel weird? Because I wouldn't really like that. If someone asked me that, I'd be like, oh, I'm not nervous. You're just weird. One time she told me she wanted me to take me somewhere, and she walked me to this desolate little pond. She told me every time she comes there, there's people kissing, and I thought it was a strong message that she wanted me to kiss her. I was probably going to, but a raccoon started chasing her, so we had to leave. You missed an opportunity. You're 21 now, and when it happened, you were 19. There'll be plenty of time. I didn't really mind, though. I wasn't in any rush to get physical, but I saw that event as sort of a pivotal moment in our relationship, from where I stopped treating it like a friendship and more so as an innocent mutual crush kind of thing. I can see it. I can see how in this situation and the environment you're in, it is like a little flirtation for sure. Looking back, maybe all of this could have been avoided if only I had just clarified my thinking. Yeah, I was gonna say, if this has ever happened to you or it is happening to you, it's so easy peasy to just speak your mind in the moment, and you can say how you feel without being creepy, without going over the top, and you could even do it in a joking way without it even coming off. I mean, she already brought it up. She brought it up first. Oh, every time I come here, there's people always kissing. Oh, really? I just moved my eyes, but you can't see it. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go back to the post. Months went by, and I feel harder and harder for her. We were talking every day. I'd go as far as to say we were close friends at the very least. I'd never been so happy in my life. I didn't even know it was possible for me to be so happy. And by the way, in this moment, it does seem like a crush on his end, and I think it is like compounding the feeling of him finally finding a friend, plus that feeling of not obsessing over someone, but the halo effect of not being able to see past what else could be happening, because you feel something for this person, and you also are kind of wanting them in your life in different aspects. You want this person as your friend. You want this person as your girlfriend. You want this person to be with you all the time so you're not alone whenever you're going to school, whenever you're not in class. It's kind of like this person is taking over, and the guy who's writing it is happy to have this person in his life, so he just can't tell what's going on and what he should say and what he can do, because he doesn't want to mess it up. He doesn't want to boot this person out. I wanted to make it official before the semester ended, since we wouldn't see each other during the break, as we lived in different cities. But life got in the way and she couldn't meet me. I asked her to stay after the exam so I could tell her, but she said she had to go home. I was slightly annoyed since I'd always make time for her regardless of how much it interrupted my schedule, but whatever. I didn't want to pressure her and risk scaring her away, but I really wasn't excited about the prospect of having to wait 4 months to tell her, given I didn't want to do this over text or phone call, but I figured we'd probably be in touch and I could probably hit the ground running the next time I saw her. And hey, I like this optimistic tone. I like how this person could change. I was wrong. We were talking every day, and then just like that, nothing. I waited, assuming she was probably busy, but after school ended, I never received any kind of communication from her whatsoever. I figured maybe she doesn't want to annoy me, so every now and then I text her. The cognitive dissonance drove me insane. I felt like we were close, and now suddenly it felt like I was some creep trying to slide into her DMs. It drove me insane. Really insane. In my paranoid hurt state, I rationalized it as her leading me on. That's where the favorite thing comes into play. She was always asking me to do things for her, and I did. Even if it was severely impacting my schedule, I did it. No questions asked. I wonder what kind of things she was asking of him. Like, what kind of favors did he fulfill for her? In that state, I rationalized it as her consciously weaponizing her affection to exploit me. She was a smart girl, smart enough to know that I was desperate, smart enough to know how I'd do anything for someone to care about me. Ooh, sounds so villainy, right? Oh. So she made it seem like she did it, and I do whatever to keep. It all came to a breaking point in the middle of the vacation when I confronted her over text, and she seemed rather indifferent to the fact that I was upset, as I was then came one of the single most embarrassing, shameful moments of my life. Here we go. Here we go. The nice guy meltdown. Sorry to say, yay, it's never fun if you're in something like this. And during this moment, if you're ever in this type of situation, it is not fun. Definitely not gonna make you want to say, yay! But if you're enjoying this video and you're enjoying this deep dive, subscribe, baby, subscribe. All right, here we go. A full-fledged nice guy meltdown, like so many you've seen on Our Nice Guys or whatever. I wasn't vulgar about it, but it was the single most pathetic thing I have ever done in my life. Literally. From the next day, I wanted to beg for forgiveness, but we weren't on speaking terms, and I knew I couldn't just approach her in public. So I kept texting her apologies, which just made things worse. She told me to stop contacting her. Ooh, it's bad. I know I should have stopped right then and there, but the guilt was eating me alive. I really didn't want her to hate me. She was the most important thing in the world to me at that moment. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd just become some fake nice guy in her head. I kept texting her apologies after she told me to stop contacting her. So dumb. Looking back, I know now I should have stopped, but I didn't. She kept ignoring me. Also, I wanted to clarify that before, whenever I said, yeah, it seems clear, after she was asking him to do so many favors and everything like that, I don't think that this girl was ever really leading him on. Even though there was some type of flirtation at some point, it doesn't mean that she was ever really leading him on in a way that's like, oh, I'm going to exploit you for your feelings. But it did seem like she was probably using him to get some type of schoolwork done out of their classes or to like help her study. But it doesn't mean that for her, it was ever really on relationship terms. Just wanted to throw that out there. I waited a couple of months until her birthday, and I wrote her a card apologizing, to which I also didn't get a reply. And a couple months after that, I wrote an email again apologizing. I cannot rationalize my thinking now. It seems so obviously insane and unstable, but it made so much sense at that moment. Yeah, of course it does. You don't want to lose a friend that you finally made, so you just want to keep saying sorry until the other person is drowning in sorries. The university intervened after that and told me not to contact her. Oh no. They told me she was scared of me. Yeah, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Stop. It ripped my heart to pieces to think someone who brought so much happiness into my life was afraid of me, that I made her feel that way. When they told me this, I was in disbelief. You better believe it. You could be nice to someone. You could also be the person that is scaring them. Yup. Now that it's been almost 2 years, obviously she was terrified of me. I was acting like a complete insane person. Hey, I'm glad you can see it. Awesome job for seeing that. I never tried to contact her in any way after that. I was completely and utterly devastated, and I made her feel that way. Yay, you can feel remorse. It's a big deal. For months after, it's all I could think about. A whole paradigm shift occurred in me after that whole incident. I started feeling like a predator. You did something bad. People do things that are bad all the time, and it doesn't make it okay. But you have to realize there's probably an embarrassing story that everyone could tell you about what they did in their lives. This is yours. I can't quite explain it. I was uncomfortable being around people before, but since the whole incident, it's on a totally different level. Whenever I'm in public, I feel like everyone knows I'm a creep. They're all afraid of me. This is particularly true for women. I'm deathly afraid of women because I cannot shake the feeling that they're all afraid of me and that they know I'm creepy and trying to get with them. My anxiety around women has gone so bad that I can't even be around one without wanting to leave immediately. I just cannot, for the life of me, shake the feeling that they've got 911 dialed and ready to go for whenever I'm around. More so than anything, I guess, I still feel bad about what I did to that girl. I hate the fact that I will forever be some nice guy who showed his true colors when he realized she wasn't going to do it with him. I hate it because that's not how I see it at all. All my happy memories belong to her, and I'll always cherish her for that. I never ever wanted to make her feel any kind of negative way. Well, you did. I'm sorry to say it so harsh like that. You did. And no matter how you feel in that moment and how you feel now, okay, you did make someone feel like that, and you have to accept it. And you also have to forgive yourself for it. You did that to someone. You can learn from it and you can never do it again. Forgive yourself and move on and try to be better in the future. It doesn't mean avoid every single person now on earth because they all think you're creepy and they all know what you did. And even if someone knows what you did, you can come to terms with that. You can move on from that. Doesn't mean you're going to be like that forever. Hopefully. You can change. Hopefully. You can learn from that. Hopefully. You can come out on top. Enough time has passed where I don't think about this obsessively like I used to, but I know it's there. It's always there. And this immense guilt and regret that the only person that showed me some interest in me in years, I doubt she'll ever try to communicate with some socially maladjusted loser ever again. I feel uncomfortable at the prospect of ever being near anyone else ever again. I resent my solitude, but I can't risk getting close to anyone without fearing that I'll have a moment like this again and they'll come away afraid, traumatized, and forever regretting ever having met me. Yeah, you could do that to someone again, or you could choose not to do that to someone again. Doesn't mean completely shut yourself down. You have to know that, yes, you are the kind of person that could explode like that. And you need to look out for how you felt in this kind of situation. I think what you should do is probably look out for this kind of infatuation that you could build and realize that you're the kind of person that is capable of putting someone on a pedestal at that level, so much so that you could explode from it. And when you start feeling that for someone, doesn't mean just automatically shut down. It means, okay, watch out because you could feel like this. It's not rational, I know, but I can't shake the feeling that she hates me with every fiber of her being. Maybe she does. Who cares? Move on. Realistically, she's got bigger problems now, but yeah, I don't know. You've said sorry a billion times, it seems, so move on. Don't even think about this girl anymore. And if you do think about the bad things, don't think about saying sorry. You already did. Leave her alone, dump it, and off you go. I'm not looking for pity or you should go to therapy. Well, you should. I just wanted to tell my story because I don't have anyone else to tell. Thanks for telling it. Thanks for letting me read it. Hopefully, I can leave all this behind someday. At the moment, I've never hated my loneliness more, but my desire to be forgotten by the world entirely has never been stronger. You shouldn't be forgotten. Everything is so black and white in this post. There's no gray area. Everything is either on this side or that side. You can go down the middle. It's okay. I cannot bear the thought of imposing myself on anyone in capacity. I wish I could erase myself from reality and every memory you'll have of me. Why? Learn from it. Make yourself stronger. Keep going. I'm back to thinking about this again now because her birthday is nearby. I pray and hope not a shred of me remains in her head. It's still there. It's definitely still there. And she's still in your brain, even though you shouldn't really think about it the same way that you do. I just want the whole world to forget me and everything I've done. Thank you. And that's how the post ends. It ends on him saying thank you. It's definitely a meltdown, and it does have like a hidden aroma of nice guy to it. But the fact that this person can realize it is a step in the right direction, but the part that's not helping him is that he goes straight back to, oh, I'm just going to shut myself off. I'm going to completely hide myself away because everybody thinks I'm a creep. Everybody knows what I did. This girl probably hates me. And so I've just got to hide away from the world. Can I tell you that even without someone doing this sort of situation, even without someone being a creep and exploding on someone else the way that a nice guy would, someone can still hate you with every fiber in their body? Isn't that crazy to think about? Even if you never ever did this, and let's say you never exploded on this person, and what if you never even tried to contact her when the break happened? And even if you said, hey, I hope your break's going well and let's meet up sometime after classes start, she could still hate you with every fiber in her body. Isn't that crazy to think about? Even if you met someone and you were super nice to them, they could still hate you because they don't like how you were acting nice to them. It's true. It could happen, but that doesn't mean you need to shut yourself off, and it doesn't mean you need to completely make sure that you never ever interact with someone else in your whole life. You should keep trying, and you do need therapy. Think about it. Please don't give up on interacting. If you liked the video, please go ahead and press like. If you want more, subscribe, baby, subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, because it was a long one, but it was fun to talk about. I'd really like to know what you think down in the comments below. Tell me what you think about people who do this sort of thing and then leave a post like this. I want to know more about the story, and I also just want to remember that they are also people who are trying to connect with other people, but it doesn't mean that they should get a pass. And even when I'm saying, you did something bad, you can move on from it. Yes, you should remember what you did to the other person, and you should take accountability for that, but it also doesn't mean that you need to completely go the opposite direction and then stop communicating with everyone on earth, or else you're always going to be stuck there. Just try your best to help yourself and do better next time. Seems like you're already realizing you shouldn't be acting like that. That's great. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, baby. And thank you so much. Goodbye.